After consuming the entire plank of foam, I decided to crack out the Lego set packages and see if maybe a little hardware could help me out. However, after closer consideration, I realized I had no instructions, so I decided to just cut my losses and start my own mini Home Depot. After that all went well, I ended up with a pretty plentiful bonus. And I mean, I'm not going to complain about that. I of course decided to continue my work on my desk now that I had a little bonus. I could get back to work and let's see, I figured out pretty quickly because I'm basically an engineer. Despite that fact, it was around this time that I came into a little bit of a problem. Yeah, I needed those screws. Now, in case you're wondering, this is not in fact a confession to the federal police, but I may or may not have gotten it in a, let's say, less than economic way. I was inspired by Indiana Jones, but, yeah, I'm just not gonna talk about. I got them back, okay? That's all that matters. Here was me making assumptions about what I was supposed to do. Once again, I had no idea where the instructions went, but I just screwed the two poles together. Yup, you guys are lucky that you're seeing this in a time lapse because it was literally like an hour that I spent doing this. Yeah, I know it's kind of sad, but it was a long time. Okay, I'm telling you. Now, here was my second problem, like a massive gap over the side, but, I mean, I'm not going to judge, so I'm sure it's fine. So I assumed this was the desk chair, and then, like, the other one's a leg stand or something. There was also, like, a lot of random leftover stuff, so hopefully I don't need that, but I soon managed to figure out that bar plus bar equals more bar, so I decided to screw those two bad boys together, and we got ourselves a nice old frame. Now that I had built myself an overly sized barbell, it was time that we actually put some weight on this thing. That's right, it's wood time. This took me like 15 minutes, so I'm just going to do a time lapse. Yep, so that's the good old tripod triple swing. I don't really know what this thing was, but it's cool, I guess. I actually cried at several points in here. This was half an hour of screwing tiny little screws with that tiny little wrench thing. As you can see, I am wearing different clothes. That's because it is the next day, and I realized that the entire frame is backwards, so I'm gonna have to unscrew everything and flip it around. So, time lapse part 2. Eventually, I woke up and finished securing the rest of the frame into place, which took me another 10 minutes, but we won't talk about that. The skeleton of this whole thing was now officially done, and we were ready to move on to the next step. This next step included these two metal bar things, which I quickly proceeded to spin around until I almost stabbed a hole through my foot. Now, with the fun and games out of the way, it was time to talk business. And when I say business, I mean drumming time. Now we can all see why I'm a pianist and not a drummer. Wow, look at this quirky little shot of me throwing the screws on the ground. So cool. So silly. But I saw some holes on the bars under the desk, so I assumed that's where these things went, just for like extra toe stubbing capability, I guess. I'm not really sure. As you could see there, though, with me flipping it around, that was because it did not fit on the other side, and I thought I'd just be like, oh, I'll come back to it later, but it does not work. I spent like 20 minutes trying to fix this thing, but it was impossible, so it was pretty clear that I screwed up. Here's another 5 minutes of me trying to get the thing on and completely failing, of course, and then eventually rage quitting and very passive aggressively tossing it across the room. So basically what happened was that entire bar over there was backwards, so I had to unscrew the entire thing and then flip it around, and then it fit, luckily, but that was a bunch of extra unnecessary work that nobody wants to see. So this is just me reattaching the bar, and it actually succeeded. Next up was the big boy, the fat oak tree, grandfather tree, thick dark oak Minecraft looking tree, whatever you want to call it. I quickly started inserting the screws. They're actually like these weird twisty things. I don't know what they're called, but I should not have done that, and here's why. So basically, yeah, it was too deep. I don't think I was supposed to put that in there, but it is completely stuck now. So we're gonna have to do this the hard way and just flip it completely over. This sure was a fun time, but I mean, it worked better than I was expecting. So at least we got it back. Wildly enough, the package with my desk actually came with a screwdriver, and I mean, look at that. It looks like a grenade, like multi-purpose. You're just screwing 1 second, and then the next second you're bombing. Anyway, I took my grenade screwdriver and started to screw in these little screw things so that I could easily attach them to the desk. With my board officially all screwed up, I decided to play a nice little game of Plinko, in which I scored the jackpot. It was absolutely wild. I was going crazy, going ham. With all the partying out of the way, it was time that we put the board to good use and placed it on top of our beautiful skeleton that we had spent all this time creating. Here it is, the moment of truth. Let's go! Yeah! I now finally had somewhere to hide during the rain and the thunder and the cold night. A point of refuge, you might say, where I could eat my ice cream and cry. Here is where I began building the drawers. Yep, that's right. And this, I'm not even going to lie, was 45 minutes. A 45-minute video, which I had to re-export and speed up like 20 times because it was just so long. And it's still like 35 seconds or something. But yeah, I'm basically just assembling. Actually, this was just one drawer, was it? No, I did two. Yeah. Here's both drawers. They're looking nice. But I was so like done. I was ready to be finished with this thing because the drawers were the last thing I needed to do, and we'd have a desk. Here we go, the final piece. The final piece of the drawers. Oh. Yeah! Yeah! Now here we have the completion. Me sliding the last two pieces of the desk in. It's so satisfying, and it went straight in on the first try. So clean, and I didn't miss at all. Eventually, about 3 years later, I managed to get the desk drawer in. That's one drawer, and we got the next one coming. What am I doing? I literally just spent so long trying to get that in there. So turns out it was the wrong drawer. I didn't know they were not interchangeable, but I got the right one, and it managed to get in this time. Now here is the true final moments right here. It's so suspenseful. If you're not on the edge of your seat right now, I don't know what is wrong with you. And let's go. Round of applause for that. Oh yeah, we got him. 2 drawers. That's a full desk right there. Once again, there was a bunch of random leftover like crap that I did not need in the slightest. I don't even know why it was there. Like, look at these magnets. I mean, they're cool, but like, did I ask? No. I also had a genuinely concerning amount of leftover bolts and screws, but who knows? I guess I'll just start a hardware store again. As a finishing touch, I peeled all of these little stickers off. This is going to be the most satisfying thing you've ever seen. I sat and pondered for absolutely eons about what I should name this glorious desk. I quickly turned to my Instagram followers to answer this difficult query. I was getting so many beautiful names. In particular, there was Sir Reliquish Cunningham, Squingle, Charlie Los Angeles III, and Jamarcus James III. I liked the theme of third. However, I could not simply decide on just one name. Out of the 4, they were all so good. Even out of the 12, every name I got was so fire that I couldn't decide on just one, right? So I devised a plan, a compromise, you could call it. And that is to merge all 4 of those given names into one beautiful abomination. The name I have chosen to give my desk is the following: Sir Reliquish Squingle Los Angeles James III. That's right. That is a pretty long name. So maybe I'll have an abbreviation. That would probably make it easier. What would that be? SRSLAJ3. SRSLAJ3. That's such an easy name to remember, and it's so fitting for this beautiful desk that we made. Anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed this desk adventure. I know I sure have, and I look forward to our next encounter. Maybe it'll be on the desk, you know? I got so many uses for a desk, like... Okay, I can't think of any, but I'm sure there's some use, for a desk, right? Like, desk, like putting paperweights on it.